Okay. So what's your question?
Like, do you believe that Genesis like 48, and when it talks about that it lines up with Romans 11 at all?
Does Genesis 48 line up with Romans 11?
Yeah.
Let me take a look.
Yeah.
Familiar with both passages, but let's go over it real quick.
Yeah, it pertains
All right.
like to the prophecies given to Ephraim.
To Ephraim, you said the northern tribe.
Right.
All right. So your position is that the Gentiles or northern tribe Israelites, that's mentioned in Romans chapter 11, that is the wild olive branch being grafted back into the olive tree, correct?
Essentially, yeah, correct.
Yeah. I already know. All right, so that's cool. So let's read Genesis 48, and you're saying that this is going to show us that Joseph, which represents the northern tribe by way of Manasseh and Ephraim, are going to be wayward, and that they're going to be brought back into the fold, right?
Well, I'm asking because I have a couple questions on it. So I'm just
yeah. So I'm just trying to sum it up. So I'm saying this is your premise, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. So where would you like me to start reading on in Genesis chapter 48?
Right when Jacob is blessing Ephraim.
Okay. So what chapter? Verse is that?
So I'm getting to it.
Sure, take your time.
I believe it's in 19.
19. Okay, let me jump down. 19. You sure? Sure, take your time.
Sorry, number 20.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I can't hear you, brother.
You can't hear me?
Okay, that's better. I think he was covering the mic.
Oh, my bad.
Okay, I hear you. All right, what verse you said?
So verse 20. Verse 20.
Verse 20. Okay, let me jump down. Okay, I'm right here. All right, so he blessed them that day, saying, "By you, Israel."
Well, actually, I'm sorry to cut you off. 19.
19.
So hold on, let me put my phone better.
Okay.
So I have it on my earlier I had my laptop, but it died. But hold on.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
I'm sorry about that. I know I went on a tirade, so
no,
laptop.
No, that was well needed. I did learn a lot. Mm-hmm. I might have skipped it. Let me see. Yeah. So 19. So it says, and his father refused, and he said, "I know it, my son. I know it. And he shall become a people. He also shall be great. But truly, his younger brother shall be greater than he, and his seed shall be a multitude of nations."
Okay.
So, in your opinion, does this have any correlation with Romans 11 as far as the Gentiles being the northern tribes?
No.
Being led by Ephraim?
No, I don't subscribe to that. But in looking at this passage, right, I think you're saying the multitude, he will become a multitude of nations, right? And why is that? What happened for the text said that they would become a multitude of nations? And this is probably what you're alluding to. What happened to the northern tribes?
Well, yeah, they were obviously kicked out.
In 2 Kings chapter 17, right?
Right.
Okay. And then they was brought where? Where were they brought?
To Assyria, right?
Yes. Well, to Babylon. We would say it's Babylon, or in the realm of Mesopotamia, right? So it could be Assyria, it could be all the way down towards Babylon, etc. Right? Mm-hmm. So they were brought there, and then they were replaced by other groups of people, other nations that were placed in the northern land, right?
So that's why I have a question on, because
Sure.
I'm like a year and a half into this.
Oh, I didn't even know, brother. Okay.
No problem. I just got into this. I was brought up in a Christian church. I'm sorry, I can't hear you. So I just decided to study the scriptures for myself, and this from what I've read, I just have a King James 1611. I have a couple concordance and stuff, but
that's cool.
Some of the history, I'm not my fault, but some of the history, I know you're really good on, and that's why I'm like,
yeah.
Because I know a lot of this has to do with replacement theology, and people saying that either Israel was replaced. So, and what you're saying right there, are you saying that another people are essentially became Israel?
So I'm gonna read for you what this says here, right? 2 Kings chapter 17, verse 24. And the king of Assyria brought people from Babylon, Cutha, Ava, Hamath, and Sepharvaim, and placed them in the cities of Samaria instead of the people of Israel. And they took possession of Samaria and lived in its cities. And at the beginning of the dwelling there, they did not fear the Lord. Therefore, the Lord sent lions among them, which killed some of them. So the king of Assyria was told, the nations that you have carried away and placed in the cities of Samaria do not know the law of the God of the land. Therefore, he has sent lions among them, and behold, they are killing them because they do not know the law of the God of the land. Now, the city of Samaria, which Israelite child descendant settled in this area of Samaria? Who settled in that region? Which one of the tribes?
Was it Joseph? I believe it was Joseph, right?
Yep. Joseph by way of which one of his sons?
Ephraim and Manasseh.
So if Ephraim is where Samaria is at, right?
Yeah,
so we see other nations settled in this area. Now I'm going to show you something interesting. There's still Northern Tribe Israelites there.
Wow.
Even after this, we're going to get into that in a second. But it says the lions amongst them, they were killing the people, right? They don't know the law of the land. Then the king of Assyria commanded, send there one of their priests whom you carried away from there, and let him go and dwell there and teach them the law of the land. So one of the priests whom they had carried away from Samaria came and lived in Bethel and taught them how they should fear the Lord. But every nation still made gods of its own and put them in the shrines of the high places that the Samaritans had made, every nation in the cities in which they lived. The men of Babylon made Succoth Benoth, the men of Cuth made Nergal, the men of Hamath made Ashima, and the Avites made Nibhaz and Tartak. And the Sepharites burned their children in the fire to Adramelech and Anamelech, the gods of the Sepharvaim. They also feared the Lord and appointed from among themselves all sorts of people as priests of the high places who sacrificed for them in the shrines of the high places. So they feared the Lord, but also served their own gods, after the manner of the nations among which they had been carried away. Now, what's very interesting is here, what the text says. Then the king of Assyria commanded, send there one of the priests whom you carried away from there. Now, where were the Levites dwelling at this time? Were they in Samaria or were they in the south around Jerusalem?
I'm not sure, to be honest, but if I'm a guess, I would believe they're with Judah, so they're not. Right. Yeah, they're not.
Now, when you go into the history of Rehoboam and Jeroboam,
right.
Jeroboam, when he became king over the northern tribes, he did not let the children of Israel in the north go down to the south to worship at the temple, sacrifices, etc. So what did he do? He made priests
in his own
from among the people. There you go. So these were one of the priests that was taken away that then was brought back, because those priests worshiped Yahweh, but they also had calves and the small little worship centers that they had enough, right? But now here's the question. We see that these other people groups have been resituated into the land, right? Now let's see if there was, let me zoom out real quick. Let's see if there were still Northern Tribe Israelites in this region. Okay, so we're gonna go through, right? Let me go through. Let me see if this is what I want. Nope. Probably gonna go to Josiah, right? Let's fast forward to the life of Josiah.
Okay, let me know so I can follow along.
Sure. Yeah, I'm gonna get it real quick. All right, this is 2 Kings chapter 22. Okay. I'll wait for you to get there. Let me know when you're there.
Yeah, 1 second.
Sure, take your time.
All right, I'm there when you're there.
Okay. All right, so this says Josiah reigns in Judah. Josiah was 8 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 31 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Jedidiah, the daughter of Adiah of Boskoth, and he did what was right in the eyes of the Lord and walked in all the way of David his father, and he did not turn aside to his right or his left, right? Then it goes and shows the campaign he did of cleansing the land, right? So he went to secretary house of the Lord, go up to Hilkiah, the high priest, and he may count the money that's been brought into the house of the Lord, which the keepers of the threshold have collected from the people, and let it be given into the land, hand of the workmen who have the oversight of the house of the Lord, and let them give it to the workmen who are at the house of the Lord repairing the house, and let them use it for buying timber and quarried stone to repair the house. But no accountant shall be asked from them for the money that is delivered into their hand, for they deal honestly, right? So Hilkiah finds a book of the law, blah, 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 and they find out that, oh man, we should have been keeping this law, right? All this other stuff, right? Let's go to the next chapter, right? So this goes into his reforms, right? So he starts going through the book, and then they start to burn all these high places and these Baals and Ashtaroths and all this other stuff, right? Keep going down, right? All the stuff he said was dismountment, blah, blah. Now look at verse 21, right? Watch this. And the king commanded all the people, keep the Passover to the Lord your God, as it is written in the book of this covenant. For no such Passover had been kept since the days of the judges who judged Israel, or during all the days of the kings of Israel, or of the kings of Judah. But in the 18th year of King Josiah, this Passover was kept to the Lord in Jerusalem, right? Yes. Now, it goes on to say, moreover, Josiah put away all the mediums, blah, blah, but there was no king like him, blah, blah, this, and that, right? So it says here, watch this. Still, the Lord did not turn away from the burning of his great wrath, which his anger was killed against Judah because of all the provocations which Manasseh had provoked him. And the Lord said, I will remove Judah out of my sight as I have removed Israel, and I will cast off this city that I have chosen, Jerusalem, and the house of which I said my name shall be there, right? So Josiah dies in battle, etc., etc. Matter of fact, I think I went too far back. I'm sorry. Let me go.
It's okay. I'm not.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. This goes back to Hezekiah keeping the Passover, right? So let me see if I can go back to that, if I'm not mistaken. Hold on. Let me grab this real quick. Let me pull this right here. Let me do a searching. Oh, That's what I meant. I'm sorry. It's Second Chronicles, chapter 35.
I knew we were gonna get there. I mean, Kings is
go.
important as well, but I knew we were gonna get
Yeah,
there.
you could have helped me if you knew I was looking.
It's okay. It's okay.
I just
okay.
want Second Chronicles.
Because I mean, ultimately, I mean, if you want to speed along, ultimately, my question is because the two sticks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was really interested to see him find that in Second Kings because, as I stated before, I read all of Second Kings, and Second Kings talks about the Northern Kingdom being removed altogether out of Samaria. So I was really waiting for him to read that there. Like, okay, how did I miss that? You know. So, and he jumped to a whole different book to show this. All right, but we're clear. Second Kings doesn't show that.
I mean, do you think the two sticks have to do with this? Because what would ultimately, like, what would be the regathering for the Mashiach?
Ezekiel chapter 47.
Ezekiel chapter 37, you said, or
47.
47?
47, yeah.
47.
Yeah, before I do that, let
Okay,
me just read this to you because this is important, okay?
No problem.
Let me see. Let me jump up here. Where? Let's see here. Okay. All right. Let's go to verse. So I pass and contradict yourself, and so I contribute the people Passover offering, blah blah. And I also devise the Levites when the service had been prepared. The priests Passover, and they roasted the lamb, did the offerings. The Levites, David. So all the services kept on that day. No, kept it like he had. Man, this is not even the pastor I'm looking for.
I believe it's. Hold on.
Hold on. I got you. Hold on. No, this is in Chronicles now. This is what I wanted. Okay. I should have looked in the chat because, sometimes they get you. In Chronicles chapter 30, it says Hezekiah, not Josiah, in regards to keeping the ecumenical Passover, right, after the exile. Okay. All right. So we're going to, let me see what chapter I want. I saw that verse 13. This is Second Chronicles 30, verse 13. This is it. And many people came together in Jerusalem to keep the feast of Unleavened.
So why are we not looking at it? All right. So you're not sharing screen.
Bread and the second. All right. So we're going to let me see what chapter I want. I saw that verse 13. This is Second Chronicles 30, verse 13. This is it.
30 now. All right. Second Chronicles.
Ecumenical Passover, right, after the exile. Okay. All right. So we're going to let me see what chapter I want. I saw that verse 13. This is Second Chronicles 30, verse 13. This is it. And many people came.
Okay, so I think he's reading from a translated version. Okay, let me just make sure. So it says the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Okay, second month. He says that he's reading the translated version. Second month of Unleavened Bread. Oh my God, what is going on with all this? What is that? What are we doing? Man. So how the hell we skip out of all of that? That's weird. How the hell we skip these apps, man? Yo, download the app. That's it's crazy.
Came together in Jerusalem to keep the feast of unleavened bread in the second month,
Right,
a
so
very great
what-
assembly. They set to work to the 30, verse 13. This is it.
Okay.
And
I
many
just wanna
people
see
came together in Jerusalem.
what translation he was right? Many people. Okay, so I want to see, because they like to pick a translation and don't stick with it, only when it's favorable for what they're looking for. So I want to know that. I know he's not using NLT like everybody else. I like the standard Hebrew like go-to translation. I don't think he took the one West. Did he take the one West bait? No. Okay, good. And many people say it could be English standard. Now, all right. I'm just really curious to see what translation he's reading. This is about to crash again.
To keep the feast of unleavened bread in the second month. All right,
Screen
so we're going to let me see what chapter I want. I saw that verse 13. This is Second Chronicles 30, verse 13. This is it.
Okay, so I think he read. Just make sure. It could be an Arabic Bible. I think he read from the ESV. All right, cool. I just want to hold him to a translation. No problem.
To keep the feast of unleavened bread in the second month.
So yeah, verse 14. 15.
The brook Kidron. And they slaughtered the Passover lamb on the 14th day of the second month. And the priests and the Levites were ashamed, so that they consecrated themselves and brought burnt offerings into the house of the Lord. You see where it says that they slaughtered the Passover lamb 14th day of the second month? This is not Aviv. This is the second month of Ziv that they're doing this. Okay. Why are they doing this? They're doing this because the lamb was unclean in the first month. And you cannot keep the Passover if you're unclean. Right. Yeah. Verse 16, they took their accustomed posts according to the law of Moses, the man of God. The priests threw the blood that they received from the land, from the hand of the Levites, for there were many in the assembly who had not consecrated themselves. Therefore, the Levites had to slaughter the Passover lamb for everyone who was not clean to consecrate it for the Lord. Watch this, verse 18. This is after the Assyrians took the northern tribes into captivity. For a majority of the people, you see that? Mm-hmm. For a majority of the people, many of them was from where? What does it say they're from, brother?
Well, if you scroll down a little bit, I can.
Oh, it's not showing?
No. I'm looking at it. I can only see it on my TV now. I'm using my Xbox.
Oh, what verse do you see?
It's up to the plaintiff. Go ahead.
Oh, you know
Thank
what?
You.
Oh, I'm not even showing it. My bad. Hold on.
Okay.
That's why you can't see it.
Yeah, I don't see it.
Hold on. I got you. Here we go. 2 Chronicles chapter 30. All right. Read verse 18, brother. Let me know if you can see it. You should be able to see it now.
Not yet. I can read it on my phone if you like. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll read it.
Right.
For a majority of the people, many of them from Ephraim, Manasseh, Issachar, and Zebulun had not cleansed themselves, yet they ate the Passover otherwise than as prescribed. So out of the majority of the people were Ephraim, Manasseh, Issachar, and Zebulun. They're still in the land. Mm-hmm. Why are they still in the land if they were just taken into captivity to be dispersed amongst all nations and to fulfill that prophecy we read in Genesis 48? Yet they're still here in the land.
Right. I see what you're doing.
But I'm saying, yeah, but I'm saying why?
You know, why does it always seem like when they do these classes, they're always talking to people who are not as well versed as themselves? Like every time, even ISBK, they talk to somebody, a member, they always like light years from themselves. But you see, when I talk to Meach, LCK, whoever else, like we're on LJ, we're on the same page. Like we're like, you know, it's like we're just like, yo, look at this over here. But we're on the same page for the information. It's not like a huge gap. Like this guy can't answer no questions, and he got to be informed the answers. Like it's a huge gap of intelligence or information between these two.
You know how Israel is. We're not always gonna follow every prophecy like to the T, and we are gonna try to like write ourselves into prophecy. That's just what I kind of what I see when I see like certain things like this, because I don't think it like takes away from the fact that Ephraim was kicked out.
He's not answering the question at all.
You know,
this is the class. This is embarrassing. It's like, damn, what kind of student I got? This guy, like he did what this is IBM. He pretty much asked the question and went somewhere else.
That they weren't a people, and they're talking about the people in Shechem, which is in Samaria. And so Ephraim was kicked out, correct?
Some of them were, but a lot of them stayed behind.
Right, but I mean like kicked out.
But now I know why he's trying to hold this position. So I'm going to hear out. The Bible says, hear out the whole conclusion, or hear out the whole matter before you draw a conclusion, something like that.
The regrafting in process. So like meaning like if you don't believe that.
So this dude, I mean, just stop the guy. See me, I'll stop. I'm not gonna have you make a complete total fool of yourself. Unbiased cut me off. Yes, to save your face. I asked you a question about something else in IBM. You're answering in your own mind something else. So I'm gonna save you. Like this dude embarrassed himself. Like he's clearly not on the same page. That's why Devon's like, what do you mean? You got to stop these guys, man. But a lot of times they're not even qualified to enjoy the lecture or whatever class you're doing. Like he's not. Sometimes these people are not mentally equipped at that time to appreciate the lesson. So some people just go anyway. Not me. Like I want to make sure, like, yo, you're catching on. If not, then let's catch you up. Let's stop this and go somewhere else and catch you up to where I am now, so it can be appreciated. All this research can be appreciated. I don't want to be wasting 6, 7, 8, 10, 12 hours or something that I'm bringing to like some people who's supposed to be on par and they are behind. It's like, I'm not going to cast my pros among swine.
They're going to be regrafted in. Who do you believe is going to be regrafted?
No. So they are going to be regrafted in.
Right.
Ones who have been exiled, right?
Right.
But what I'm trying to show you is that all of them were not exiled.
Well, I know that. I knew that from the beginning. I knew that.
So
but I was saying that like
that's where he's at. Cool. So I'm going to look into this.
Okay, got it.
In the New Testament, like the Mashiach has to come back for the lost sheep.
Okay.
And
this guy is
in Romans,
he's on a rant.
It kind of is talking about the regrafting in process, and what I was told coming from the church was that anybody who's not an Israelite is going to be regrafted in with the Israelites, quote unquote, or what I thought.
That's what we call replacement theology, as you so eloquently explained, right?
Right.
So
my ultimate question is like, what is your exegesis on that, as far as like what's the New Testament, the New Covenant, what does that actually mean?
Yeah, so it has to do with the regathering. Yeshua, Yahushua, Jesus says that he has another flock not of this fold.
He's not asking
and
the
that
right
he has to
his mind is double-minded. Like my man just Like he's one of those guys that needs to be in the church just listening and just repeating everything the pastor says. Like he don't like understanding ain't just for him. Like you don't I can't waste my time trying to get you to understand the lesson. Just repeat after me and that's it. You know, like how these like Jehovah's Witnesses, they might have like they have the catechisms and the rebuttals. You ask a question and respond with this. That's what he needs to do. Like he needs to learn precepts. And I'm being sarcastic. In every way, he's a precept guy because understanding ain't where he should be focused his time on. Just precepts. Just respond and use this. Respond with this and use that. Don't worry about understanding what's going on because you're like lost. So you get precepts. So, but it looks like Divine Prospect, the guy's not asking the right questions. It looked like Divine Prospect, his doctrine is right on par with the One West doctrine. That the Gentiles in the New Testament are Northern Israel. See, but he's not doing that right. Like, he's not saying it's mixed with Judah. So, but I just want him to say that. And the guy's not asking the right questions. So now Divine is buck dancing. And if you try to hold him on, he's gonna say, I never said that. You know, it's like the virgin birth. Well, I'm not saying that this exists. I'm just saying, I'm just giving you evidence against it. Why? Okay. So he likes to play that type of thing where he's not all the way in. So he's not all the way in, but it seems like he is. Where the Gentiles of the New Testament that's getting salvation and being grafted in are the Northern Israelites who were left behind, which he's claiming. Majority of them were left behind. Okay.
Gather that flock so that the two may become one fold, right? So that lost flock, that lost sheep, is to the house of Israel that has been scattered.
So one with doctrine.
And who?
So that lost, I think Divine's a little better than that. So the lost sheep, you know, he's using the verbiage, the lost sheep. Matthew 10:5-6. I came in Matthew 15:24. The lost sheep. Okay, the house of Israel, and according to Divine, that's Northern Israel. That's the Northern Kingdom.
Unaware of the arrival of the Mashiach, right? So he sends his disciples to go and bring the gospel to those entities, and that's why, right? Right? Yeshua, Yahushua, Jesus says that he has another flock not of this fold, and that he has to regather that flock so that the two may become one fold, right? So that lost flock, that lost sheep, is to the house of Israel that has been scattered and who is unaware of the arrival of the Mashiach, right? So he sends his disciples to go and bring the gospel to those entities, and that's why they were in the land of Israel. After he died, he commissioned them to go into all nations so that they can continue to bring that gospel message to Israelites or Jews that were scattered, right? So I'm gonna jump over here so you can see. I'm going to.
So he pretty much said that that they teach all nations after Christ died to the Jews who are scattered amongst nations. Now check this out. So when you're in this debate realm, right, you got to catch the words they're using. Remember, that's why I told Meech we got to define these words before we even discuss anything. Watch this.
To Israelites or Jews that were scattered.
So now notice he's using the terms Israelites and scattered. Why are you still calling them Israelites and Jews? Now watch this. Great.
So I'm gonna jump over here to entities and Israel that has been scattered and who is unaware of the arrival of the Mashiach, right? So he sends his disciples to go and bring the gospel to those entities, and so that's why they were in the land of Israel.
Entity, he's talking about Israel. So whether it's the Southern Kingdom, it doesn't matter. He's talking about Israel, all right, God's people originally.
After he died, he commissioned them to go into all nations.
Okay, so now he said nation. So he used the word nation. He's defining nation separate from God's people. Okay, so I want to like saying nations now, because a lot of times they play with that word where nations is also. Now he is caught. All right, so let me actually clip this.
they can continue entities, and that's why they were in the land of Israel.
So, because he's definitely separate as a different Israel.
I am with they sends his disciples to go and bring the gospel to those entities, and that's why to those his disciples to go and bring the gospel to those. They send his disciples the gospel to those entities, and that's why they were in the land of Israel. After he died, he commissioned them to go into all nations so that they can continue to bring that gospel message to Israelites or Jews that were scattered, right? So I'm gonna jump over here so you can see. I'm going to Acts chapter 11.
iPad, man. I can't. This iPad.
So they sent his disciples to go and bring the gospel to those entities, and that's why they were in the land of Israel. After he died, teaching them, they. I'm going to Acts. So they sends his disciples. I'm going to jump. So they sends his disciples to go and bring the gospel to those entities, and that's why they and of it them to go into all nations so that they can continue to bring that gospel message to Israelites or Jews that were scattered, right? So I'm gonna jump. So they sends his disciples to go and bring the gospel to those entities, and that's why they were in the land of Israel. After he died, he commissioned them to go into all nations so that they can continue to bring that gospel message to Israelites or Jews that were scattered.
I didn't hear him say nation.
So I'm gonna jump. So they sends his disciples to go and bring the gospel to those entities, and that's why they were in the land of Israel. After he died, he commissioned them to go into all nations so that they can continue to bring that gospel message to Israelites or Jews that were scattered, right? So I'm gonna jump. So they sends his disciples to go and bring the gospel. So they sends his disciples to go and.
It looks like okay. It's looking like Divine Prospect might be on mine. You see the two Hebrew Israelite names at the bottom? That's me trying to catch someone. That's me trying to reel one of these guys in. All right.
To those entities, and that's how they were in the land of Israel. After he died, he commissioned them to go into all nations so that they can continue to bring that gospel message to Israelites or Jews that were scattered, right? So I'm gonna jump over here so you can see. I'm going to Acts chapter 11. First of all, let's go to
Are we going into Cornelius?
No, I'm not gonna go to Cornelius. No, not yet. Let's go to Matthew chapter 28, right? In verse 18. And Jesus came and said to them, all authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. Verse 19. Go therefore and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit, teaching them to observe all that I have commanded you. And behold, I am with you always to the end of the age. He gave them the Great Commission, right? That you hear in church. And people think, oh, that means they're going out to the Gentiles to teach the gospel to the Gentiles, which you're saying in the New Testament is the northern tribes. And I'm saying all of them are not the northern tribes. Some of them are ethnic Gentiles outside of Israel, and some of them are some of the northern tribes.
He is. Okay, so he's not with the One West doctrine. All right.
Scattered, and not just northern tribes, there were southern tribesmen that were scattered as well.
Yeah, which I'm aware of. But what I'm saying is that so we do agree on that essentially then, right? Which is great. Okay.
So Acts chapter 11. Watch this.
What happened? I still got more questions for him.
in Judea when they begin to get persecuted. They scatter, and who do they go to? Because remember, Jesus told them to go to all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, right? And he says, teaching them all that I have taught you to observe, right? So if they're supposed to go to Gentiles with that information, then how come they don't do that when they are scattered and they are exiled? So let's read, right? So Acts chapter 11, verse 19. Now those who were scattered because of the persecution that arose over Stephen traveled as far as Phoenicia and Cyprus and Antioch, speaking the word, you see that, to none except Jews. Wait, I thought Jesus told them to go into all nations, baptizing them and teaching them in the name of the Father. No, he said that. But yet when they were scattered, they went to only Jews. But there were some of them, men of Cyprus and Cyrene, who on coming to Antioch spoke to the Hellenists also, preaching the Lord Jesus. You see this word here, this word Hellenist here? Mm-hmm. Those are the Jews that speak Greek, right? Some of them were that says Greek-speaking non-Jews, but in some instances, they could also be Jews who were speaking Greek or who were cultured as Greeks, like you're saying, right? Right. So they went to Jews only, which we assume these are Torah-keeping Jews who knew the history, custom, culture, and all of that. And then these are others, which is a mixture of non-Israelite Jews who are Greeks and or Jews who were Hellenized. Because we see the same word here.
A Jew can't be a Greek. Okay, they can speak Greek. So yeah, so I think he looked up some of the ways it's been used, and he made a big boo. Let's go back.
So they went to Jews only, which we assume these are Torah-keeping Jews who knew the history, custom, culture, and all Jews who were speaking Greek.
So you see where it says, or brothers or sisters, brothers and sisters, or Jerusalem, those of circumcision, or Greeks. So when it says Greeks, that is Greek-speaking non-Jews. It says non-Jews. That is Greek-speaking non-Jews. So that means that 20, so I guess, again, he read that wrong. I don't know if it's on purpose, probably. But this right here speaks about actually Gentiles that spoke Greek and they were not Jews. So Hellenist doesn't cover people speaking Greek that's all Jewish people or Israelites. This says non-Jews. So it says Greeks. These are actually Greeks. I got to stamp this in your head. Israelites are not Greeks, and they're not Gentiles. They're Israelites. That's it. Okay, so they can behave like Gentiles. They can worship like Gentiles. They can be evil as Gentiles. And they could be grafted in like Gentiles, grafted back in like Gentiles. But they're not Gentiles. They're Israelites. So this is Greek. When it says or Greeks, this is actually Greeks. These are Gentiles. These are Greek-speaking non-Jews. So Greeks just covers that you're speaking a language, but you're not Jews. So 20 can be that.
Cultured as Greeks, like you're saying, right?
Okay. So now it is the ESV. So I was correct. It's the ESV. So he's reading from ESV. So their translation's choice is funny. So he read this and then misapplied it.
Speaking non-Jews, but in some instances they could also be Jews who were speaking Greek or who were cultured as Greek.
Where do we read that? Why do they always read the evidence? And then, so we got the evidence. We don't need some more evidence by you. They all read the evidence and then insert more evidence to make it favorable for their doctrine. No, we don't read that. Okay, so let's only read, let you only say what we read. Especially when you're sourcing up, when you're looking to reference or cite, please only say what you read. Do not add in information. Do not do a Mark Furman. Don't plant evidence. So now he read it and it says Greeks. It went against his doctrine. So then he's going to say Jews position as Greeks. We don't read that here.
Like you're saying, right?
Right.
So you see how
they
he also played on his doctrine, like you're saying. So he played on his doctrine. So now he's going to follow blindly. So this is literally the blind leading the blind. Like, so now he's gonna follow blindly because he already believed that. But if somebody didn't believe that going in, they say, nah, it says Greeks. It don't say, it says non-Jews, Greeks. But on his own recorded live, he'll still say that comfortably. Okay. And in fact, I'm gonna clip that.
went to Jews who were speaking with Hellenists here. Those are coming to Antioch.
I'm gonna clip that. Oh boy, this is bad.
We see the same.
I sound like Flacco. He's like, this is bad. And it's like,
they went to only Jews. But there were some of them, men of Cyprus and Cyrene, who on coming to Antioch spoke to the Hellenists also, preaching the Lord Jesus. You see this word here, this word Hellenist here? This word Hellenist here. Those are the Jews that speak Greek. Right? Some of them were that says Greek speaking non-Jews, but in some instances they could also be Jews who were speaking Greek or preaching the Lord Jesus. See this word here, this word Hellenist here? Those are the Jews that speak Greek. Right? Some of them were that says Greek speaking non-Jews, but in some instances they could also be Jews who were speaking Greek or who were cultured as Greeks, like you're saying. Right? As Greeks, like you're saying, right? So they went to Jews only, which we assume these are Torah-keeping Jews who knew the history, custom, culture, and all of that. And then these are others, which is a mixture of non-Israelite Jews who are Greeks and or Jews who were Hellenized. Because we see the same word here where it says Hellenist. If we go to Acts chapter 5, right? Sorry, Acts chapter 6. If you go to Acts chapter 6, we see the same word here, right? Now, in these days, when the disciples were increasing in number, a complaint by the Hellenists arose against the Hebrews. Now, look at this. Hit the footnote A, right? It says that is Greek-speaking Jews. Same word. But when we get to Acts 11, there's a theological bias by a Christian translator who wants this to now say, oh no, these are not Hellenized Jews, these are non-Jews.
He did the conspiracy theory.
See that sleight of hand that happens here? That's why I said this is
he said earlier. Remember earlier I played it last night, he was like, I'm not here to scam people. I'm not here to charge people for free information. You're scamming right now. Yeah, every time their own resources don't line up with their thinking, it's always a Christian conspiracy theory or a Catholic conspiracy theory. It's never a Kingdom Harbinger Ministries conspiracy theory. It's always somebody else. Dude, your evidence went against you. Now, we're going to look at both of them, though. Don't worry. We're going to look at both. Okay, so share clip. Okay. So it's another thing it does. It takes. Oh boy. Okay. Got that. So let me clip one more. Let me make sure. And let me clip this conspiracy theory. Okay, I'm still live, right? I'm still live. Okay, cool. I know me said I'm lagging. Still live. Okay, so now let's clip this conspiracy theory.
Spoke to the Hellenists, to only Jews. To only Jews. But Hellenists here, those are the Jews that speak Greek. Right? Some of them were that says Greek speaking non-Jews. So they went to Jews only, which we assume these are Torah keeping Jews who knew the history, custom, culture, and all of that. And then these are others, which is a mixture of non-Israelite Jews who are Greeks
and or. When we read that, we read 9 in your footnotes. It showed 9 Jews who spoke Greek.
Jews who were Hellenized. Because we see the same word here where it says Hellenist. If we go to Acts chapter 5,
So this is what I want.
Jews out of Jerusalem. Same word here, right? Now, in these days, when the disciples were increasing in number, a complaint by the Hellenists arose against the Hebrews. Now look at this. Hit the footnote A, right? It says that is Greek-speaking Jews. Same word. But when we get to Acts 11, there's a theological bias by a Christian translator who wants this to now say, oh no, these are not Hellenized Jews. These are non-Jews. See that?
I ain't gonna lie.
See that slide
Back
ahead?
in the day, when I was like coming up, I thought Devon was on his way. You know, I thought he had a lot of potential. But as I got older and I started to like get back in the Bible, and I went to review his stuff, I'm like, I never knew he was anti virgin birth. Like I didn't know that his doctrine lined up with One West so closely. I really thought he did something different. Like, you know, like going towards like true interpretation of the Bible, which lines up more Christianity, but teach it from a Hebrew Israelite perspective. Like, it kind of like shocked me, like disappointed me that this dude is basically One West, like a One West hybrid. And it's funny that we'll meet up again on opposing sides because we were on opposing sides during the vax, and now we're on opposing side again. So I couldn't catch him on the vax, but I'm gonna get him on this one because he feels more comfortable here than the whole vax thing. I hate this shit, man. It will not let me. Yo, why do you keep doing that? Okay.
When the disciples were increasing in number, a complaint by the Hellenists arose against the Hebrews. Now look at this. Hit the footnote A, right? It says that is Greek-speaking Jews. Same word. But when we get to Acts 11, there's a theological bias by a Christian translator who wants this to now say, oh no, these are not Hellenized Jews. These are non-Jews. See that? See that slide of hand?
Yeah, but what if they did the reverse? What if both Hellenists were Greek-speaking non-Jews? And what if they added in, these are Jewish people speaking Greek? What if they did the absolute opposite what you're charging them? What if the conspiracy was to make it seem like there are Jews who spoke Greek? Why can't it go that way? Why it has to always go the way that lines up with your doctrine? All right.
That's why I said this is, and the reason why they did that is because remember in Acts 6, they're still in Jerusalem.
So he knows the mindset of the conspirators. Wow.
By Acts 11, they're out of Jerusalem and they're going as far as Phoenicia, Cyprus, and Antioch. Right? That's where they're going. And Cyprus and Cyrene, right, which is in the Isle and then in the Mediterranean Sea, right, who are coming to Antioch, spoke to the Hellenists all when the
look at it, then it just disappears. Bro, I cannot stand that shit, right? Man. I cannot stand that.
So, who were
all that then disappears. It does that almost every time.
The Hellenists here, Jews who were speaking Greek or
almost every time it does that.
Jews who were. If you go to
I can't stand clipping on this damn because it makes you gotta use your fingers, and it does that, man. That shit pissed me off.
Right. That's what. Go to Acts chapter 6. We see the same word here, right? Now, in these days, when the disciples.
All right. Look at
chapter 6. We see the same word.
What the fuck?
And 5, right? Sorry, Acts chapter 6. If you go to Acts chapter 6, we see the same word here, right? Now 6. If you go to Acts chapter 6, we see Hellenized Jews. These are non-Jews. See that? See that sleight of hand that happens here? That's why I said this is And the reason why they did that is because, remember, in Acts 6, they're still in Jerusalem.
So now he knows the mindset of conspirator. Yes. Look, and look, I'm backspacing and it disappears from there too. I'm just backspacing and then the keyboard thing drops. Look, I'm not pressing anything for it to drop. Keys dropping. I got to deal with this over and over and over. And then notice, like, you see the red bar where it shows where he's talking. It's not supposed to go outside of the edited time frame. It's outside of it. It's supposed to loop when it goes to the end of it. It's outside of it totally. Oh, it's totally out of it. So yeah, but it's supposed to come back inside.
By Acts 11, they're out of Jerusalem and they're going as far as Phoenicia, Cyprus, and Antioch. Right? That's where they're going. And Cyprus and Cyrene.
I don't know how you're still going. Like, it's supposed to stop in the box. Once you get there, it's supposed to loop.
Who wants this to now say, oh no, these are not Hellenized Jews, these are non-Jews. See that? See that sleight of hand that happens here?
God.
See that? 6.
All right, shit.
Hand that happens here? 6.
Got it. God damn. Took all that. Damn. This guy went full pseudo. That fast. Okay. You know what? 8 o'clock. This iPad's gonna die. I got 4 of this, but I'm not gonna extend this live. So once I got 6%. Once I get down to 1%, I'm ending the live because I gotta get this battery out of this car. I gotta get it recharged. I've been BSing, being lazy. Because in Jersey, like, there's so much I was hearing my mom telling my sister who lives in South Carolina, like, in their area, if you ain't got a car, you're done. Right. But in Jersey, especially New York, you can live without a car. Like, we got so many electric like bikes, all look like motorcycles. We got all type of buses that goes everywhere, taxis, Ubers. So apparently my battery's dead and I've been too lazy to get it out. But yesterday I finally worked on it. But I had like no time when I finally worked on it. I had to pick up my son from the daycare. So today I'm going to take it out. I'm gonna get it recharged. I'm gonna be driving. So I've literally been just walking, but it's been great. Exercising, walking a lot. I've been walking. Okay, pushing him in the stroller, buses, and once I get my battery charged today, I'm gonna continue with this life. I'm gonna continue with not driving as much anymore. Like, unless it's like just somewhere I just cannot walk to. It's too far. It's too many miles. I'm gonna drive, but I'm gonna continue to catch the bus from here on out. So as long as the bus ain't too packed, and I don't like to catch the buses during the wintertime when everybody's sick. So I'll be driving in. I won't be at that time. I'll drive, but right now it's nice weather, fall. So yeah, I didn't realize the bus put everywhere I would go. The bus puts me right there in front of it. It's only $1.80. I can avoid tickets because I got tint everywhere. Even my sticker's outdated. So I'm over here ducking police officers. You know, I could just hop in this bus and it puts me right in front of where I gotta go. I'm like, yeah, that's crazy. So anyway, so once this live ends, like a 6% left. Once this live ends, I'm going to get the battery out, charge it, get it recharged, put it back in, start the car up, and then leave it alone. All right, so let's go.
Here, right? Now, in these days, when the disciples were increasing in number, a complaint by the Hellenists arose against the Hebrews. Now, look at this. Hit the footnote A, right? It says that is Greek-speaking Jews. Same word. But when we get to Acts 11, there's a theological bias by a Christian translator who wants this to now say, oh, no, these are not Hellenized Jews. These are non-Jews. See that? See that sleight of hand that happens here? That's why I said this is and the reason why they did that is because remember in Acts 6, they're still in Jerusalem.
Right. So let's compare these real fast before we go into Acts, to your conspiracy theory. Let's go into the passages itself. So he had is that Acts 11. Oh man, yeah. So like, believe me, like he knows he's absolutely incorrect. So there's no way he'll debate like Sam Shimon. This is why like these self-proclaimed pseudo scholars, like they stay in their lane. Like they don't really go out there and challenge like these scholars and reputable people who teach the opposite. I mean, but you see, I like when I think I'm right, I want everybody. I want Muslims, Israelites, I want scientists, I want scholars, I want math. When I think I'm right, I want to test, I want to make sure I'm right. I want to challenge everybody that has authority or some type of reputable, character or reputation. I want those people. I want to correct them. Yo, you get your stripes when you correct somebody with stripes. Not peons like the guy he's talking to. Now look at this shit. Okay, so I got 6%. Let me hurry up. So Acts, yeah, so that's me. This guy's talking to a guy who's like, the guy he's talking to is like clearly feeble-minded. So I wonder if there's different strongs on Hellenists. I doubt it because I pretty much know all of them. If it is, I didn't see that one. Okay. So where was he? Okay, right over here. I'm at 5%. Like I said, I'm not gonna. Yeah. So you notice that he's using the ESV. So now I think I see his problem. Okay, so Acts 11:21 is going to say Grecians. So it's not going to say Hellenes. Same shit. Okay, so here, there. Okay, so it's gonna be 1675. No, it's gonna be 1670. I think 5 is a Jewish woman. 1674. Let's see. Oh, it is 75. I was right. 1675. Okay, cool. So now let's go to. So I believe Acts 6 is gonna be the same thing. 1675. Because let me just tell you. So 1671 is the actual place. 1672 are those are actually Greeks. 1673, I believe, is the language. 1674, I believe, can be Gentiles. 1675 is Grecians, and 1676, I believe, is I forgot, but I had originally memorized all of them. 6. Acts 6. Okay, so it says Grecians also. All right, so now you go here. It's going to say 16 cents. So you see it says Grecians. It says Hellenes. Same thing. They're interchangeable. interlinear, and then we're gonna say 6075 again. It's gonna say 75. 75. There we go. So now he's upset, but when he went to his first footnotes, it said non-speaking Jews. So now he want to know. So I guess Divine Prophet want to know. Okay, it's Grecians for both. How do we know that this is for sure talking about non-Israelites, and how do we know for sure this is talking about Israelites, other than the translator saying so? That would have been like a better like question rather than going to conspiracy theory. It's like how does the translator get to decide which one is Israelites and which one are Israelite speaking Jew Greek? So how did the translator gets to decide which one of these Grecians are Israelite speaking Greek and which one are non-Israelite speaking Greek? Is he just any, meeny, miny, mo? Is he covering his eyes? Okay, so that would have been a better question rather than going to conspiracy theory. So you click on it. And you see, like when we do this, we never go conspiracy theory. Like, we just go with whatever it says. Okay. Do I see that? A Hellenist or a Greek speaking Jew. Okay. So you see, it says a Hellenist or a Greek speaking Jew. So a Hellenist is not even a Jew. It's separate. So a Hellenist is clearly a Greek speaking Gentile. Okay. Because it shows it distinguish. It says Hellenist or Greek speaking Jew. So a Jew Israelite is always called an Israelite Jew. That's it. They're not called something else. They're not called Gentile, even strange. Oh, it can be strangers, but they're not called nations. They're called what they are. So this is a Hellenist. Hellenist is separate from a Greek speaking Jew. So it's saying that 1675 can be either a Hellenist, a non-Jew, or it can be a Jew who speaks Greek. But Hellenist does not necessarily cover a Jew who speaks Greek. So now, how do we know if it's speaking about Gentiles, natural Gentiles, or Greek-speaking Jews? The context will determine that. So because I am a real journalist, on YouTube, I'm a couch journalist, and because I really love to research, I'm going to read up on Acts up to chapter 11 and probably a little 12, 13. And I'm going to clearly show that these are who the scholars say they are. These are indeed, one is Jews who speak Greek, and the other is indeed Gentiles who speak Greek. Okay, so I will not let him get away with that one. And I'm going to make it clip. And then, then comes the challenge. So I finally got him clear on something. All right, it's a conspiracy theory.
By Acts 11, and they're going as far as Phoenicia, Cyprus, and Antioch, right? That's where they're going. And Cyprus and Cyrene, right, which is in the Isle and in the Mediterranean Sea, right, who are coming to Antioch, spoke to the Hellenists, also preaching on Lord Jesus. And the hand of the Lord was with them, and a great number who believed turned to the Lord. So here in this case, when they were scattered, they were only going to Jews. Jesus told them to do, going to nations, so that now preach to the Jews in those nations. So now this is by the time we get to
he inserted his own doctrine
and Paul's situation and his conversion and everything like that, right? Now Paul is commissioned to those who are not circumcised. Now, the non-circumcised is a phrase or an idiom.
So he's going through the whole one was package. So now the non-circumcised is the idiom. He's making shit up again. He's not reading scholars. He now just, so you see, like, they pick and choose when they go to scholars. They pick and choose when they go to translations. Only when it favors them, they'll go to scholars, they'll go to translations. But the minute those translations and scholars do not favor their doctrine, their heresy, then all of a sudden it's a conspiracy theory and everything else. Like, these guys are terrible.
denote those who are not ethnic Jews. Doesn't matter what tribe you come from, not circumcised. Now, the non-circumcised is a phrase or an
my
idiom
man says a
used
phrase
to denote those who are
He
not.
said, so he's going with the Captain Tazariak conspiracy theory that it's a byword or proverb. So this guy said the non-circumcised is an idiom or phrase. Dude, how you come up with this? So you just criticize the translator for being a conspiracy theorist Christian, but now you're saying it's an idiom. It's a noun. It's a noun that represents a certain people based on a condition, a physical condition.
Ethnic Jews. Doesn't matter what tribe you come from. If you're uncircumcised is a phrase or an idiom used in his conversion and everything like that, right? Now, Paul is commissioned to those who are not certain in those nations.
I gotta clip this.
And the hand of the and the hand of the Lord was with them, and a great number who believed turned to the Lord. So here in this case, when they were scattered, they were only going to Jews because that's what Jesus told them to do, going to nations so that they can now preach to the Jews in those nations.
Oh man.
So now this is by the time we get to Paul and Paul.
Now I don't know where and it does that. It will sometimes when I'm trying to clip, it'll reset me all the way to the beginning of the of the video. It will do that. Okay. All right.
About sheep.
Okay.
And
you into being pissed off when that happens. I got 2%. All right, so I'm just gonna save it. All right. I want that last clip.
And Peter, James, and John were sent to the circumcised, but they gave him the right hand
right there.
Called uncircumcised.
Look at this.
Always referring to non-Jews. We know that because those words doesn't matter what tribe you come from, not circumcised. Situation in his conversion and everything like that, right? Important because going to Jews because that's what Jesus told them to do, going to nations so that they can now preach to the Jews in those nations. So now this is by the time we get to Paul and Paul's situation and his conversion and everything like that, to those who are like that, right? Now Paul is commissioned to those who are not circumcised. Is commissioned to those. Paul is commissioned to those who are not conversion and everything. Paul is right. Now Paul is commissioned to those who are 2%. Not circumcised. Now, the non-circumcised is a phrase or an idiom used to denote those who are not ethnic Jews. Doesn't matter what tribe you come from. If you're uncircumcised, it's typically referring to those who are non-Jews. We know that because those words also are in the Septuagint in the Greek, and it's always referring to non-ethnic Jews. For example, the Philistines were called uncircumcised. Same Greek word, called uncircumcised, referring to ethnic groups that were not from the lineage of Israel. Now that's important because Paul tells you in the book of Galatians that he was sent to the uncircumcised. And Peter, James, and John were sent to the circumcised, but they gave him the right hand of fellowship. He's not going to Jews. How do we know that? Look at Acts chapter 21.
All right, so that part. Now, he did okay. All right. So I'm going to stop it there. And man, hit this guy right here. Yeah. You got one way or another. I'm gonna find you, and I'm gonna get you. All right, we out. Let me get this battery out.